Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. Now I worked last night, I worked this morning, and looking at my socials, this video right now that is teed up has been sent to me 7 times. 5 times on Discord and twice through email. And this is DM and Raxx, Darth microtransaction Raxx, talking about Last Epoch. I have not watched this. I don't know if they're saying good, bad, indifferent feedback. I have no idea. But since I'm going to watch it, I figured let's watch it together. Let's hope it's good news.
You still playing Last Epoch?
Oh yeah. I mean, that game is so fun, man. I'm gonna make my 5th character today. I'm blasting, man.
5? Holy moly, man! You have been playing that game a lot. What's the max level?
100.
And you have 4 100s now. You're going on number 5.
No, they're not 100. They're like, just making up numbers. They're like 93, 90, 88, and 80 or something. It gets a little tough at the end. It gets a little.
Once you get into the 90s, it's not like you're going to be getting better gear. It's not like you have extra skills unlocked. That 90 to 100 is literally 10 passive points. Doesn't give you a whole ton of power. Obviously, each passive point's great, but it's not like crazy.
A little tough to go from like 90 to 100. Like that's a bit of a grind. But all of them are in the end game. They're all in the empowered monolith. They all have full gear. They all have their legendaries that they need, or the unique
blasting. He's blasting.
Are you thinking about trying it? I know you said earlier, a week ago you were going to wait for the launch to get like the authentic experience. But have you changed your mind? Are you going to play some earlier?
I was thinking. So when's the date of when does Last Epoch launch officially?
Early December.
They don't have a date, but it's December. So. Okay. And certainly it won't launch on Christmas. It's got to launch, I would say at the latest mid-December, maybe early December is the
early
only
December
launch date to me.
That makes sense. So I'll probably play it. December feels like a ways away, to be honest. It feels like that's like 2 months. So I'll probably give it a shot. I was thinking about playing it because I've messed around a little bit with D2. I still have to complete the D2 campaign because I beat Diablo, and then he glitched inside of a wall, and I had to kill him again, and he killed me on the second run. So I had to make a new character because I was playing hardcore. So I got to do it again. And then after that one, I'll have done the PoE campaign, the Diablo campaign. I want to do all the game's campaigns is what I do. Like, I just kind of want to go through the campaign on each of them just to get a basic experience and then kind of see what I think about each of them. And Last Epoch is, I think, the last one on the list I still have to do. People keep mentioning Grim Dawn. I don't really know much about that one, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do that one or not, but are you familiar at all with a game called Grim Dawn?
Yes. So, well, yes and no. So, I have never played Grim Dawn.
Neither of these guys have played Grim Dawn? Oh boy. You need to carve out some time. Well, Last Epoch first, and then play Grim Dawn. At bare minimum, before the new expansion, we are getting mid next year. Wow.
On before, but I have heard so many people over the years talk about it that I can parrot what people say pretty well. Let me just give you a pretty strong testimonial. I rated Alkaiser a week ago. And he said, "What's up, Raxx? I heard you've been blasting Last Epoch. You having fun?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "You want to know what my favorite ARPG is that isn't Diablo or Path of Exile? It's Grim Dawn."
Really?
So,
Alkaiser.
a testimonial from a player of his caliber is pretty huge. All I hear all day long is Grim Dawn has the super dated graphics, but its systems and its game are very godly. So Grim Dawn is. They said that they weren't going to do an expansion. They're doing an expansion. They just announced it, and it's coming next year. So I'm probably going to sneak in a playthrough, but I was thinking of doing it closer to when it actually comes out. That way I don't forget everything.
I need a blue hoodie for this.
Like, okay, so on October 10th, we have Diablo 4. That might satiate us for a little bit, looking for some uber uniques. Then I believe the next PoE League is going to be in November, and for once in my life, I'm actually going to try. I'm really going to try and farm whatever 1,000 divine orbs or whatever it is and actually blast. And then it should right after that fall nicely that it will be Last Epoch launch
True.
It's a good plan.
By January, hopefully we'll get into this nice cycle where Diablo 4 Season 3 comes out. At a minimum, we're getting leaderboards. Maybe we'll get loot filters then. Then it will...
Darth, I doubt you would ever watch this, and that's okay. One, you need to play Grim Dawn, okay? You also need to play Titan Quest, especially because we're getting Titan Quest 2, and you need to play Torchlight 2, okay? Diablo 2, Torchlight 2, PoE, Grim Dawn, Titan Quest, Last Epoch. I know some other people have some core action RPGs, but those are the ones you need to play. Trust me.
Kind of be a game. And then we should have a nice cycle up to the Grim Dawn launch. At least that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because we have October 17th, Diablo 4 Season 2. Then I didn't actually realize PoE season was in November. Is that what you just said, November?
I believe it's supposed to be in November. So we should go Diablo 4 PoE and then Last Epoch at the beginning of December. Should be real nice.
So we actually have good stuff to do for the next few months. I was getting a little kind of like bored, like twiddling my thumbs for a little bit, but that's actually like content, boy.
Yep.
Got stuff
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do. Well, that's kind of...
we're in a pretty good spot here.
That's actually kind of hype, though. So Last Epoch. So if you're going to make a 5th character, where are the odds I can talk you into making a character and teaching me the game if I play through it?
I think I have a pretty strong grasp on the basics. The crafting system is so rewarding, man. It's pretty easy.
Correct.
It's easy to understand. You can use the crafting system to make your gear better right away. But there is a level of depth to it to where if I find a really good item, I put it in the crafting bench and I sit there and I think for a few minutes. I'm like, all right, what exactly am I going to do here? Because the way that they limit you based upon the forging potential, and you have to think about all the possibilities, kind of like a chess game. It's like, all right, if I hook...
Wow. That is, I like it when I learn something new. That is a great way to describe the crafting system. It is a game of chess, and you are ultimately trying to be strategic with how you place your pieces or your shards to get the most benefit, right? Like, oh, do I seal it now? Do I wait? Well, if I don't seal it, then it might tier up to tier 2, and then I won't be able to get it. Which affix is the most important? Ooh, it got a bad implicit roll. Should I re-roll that? A lot of different combinations for different outcomes.
Hope this in this prefix slot, if it crits here and it goes from T4 to T5, I can't chaos it anymore. But if I chaos it first and it eats all my potential, that there's no way I can get the prefix that I need to T5. So you just weigh it. You're just like, okay, what's the best possible thing? I guess I take the 1 in 4 chance that I get screwed. I hope if it crits, I hope the prefix, I hope it doesn't crit, and let's go. And then it crits and you break it. You're like, God damn it. And then you go next. Or sometimes you win and then you feel like $1 million. It's fun, man. It's fun. It's like a cool, it's all these little math problems and every item is different. So you're like, all right, what am I going to do with this one?
So then what I'm hearing is you're willing to let me be the Last Epoch apprentice. I'll put on the blue hoodie. I'll master the ways here. I'll tuck the hair in.
Dude, you're looking good with that blue hoodie on.
You think? Damn. Does it fit?
It's looking nice, man. It's looking nice.
I think this is going to be perfect for the Last Epoch stream. I think this.
All right, I need to get a blue hoodie.
I'm leveling a brand new character on Last Epoch, and everyone tells me this is the best build in the game. So I'm going to be making the best build in the game, the Shadow Dagger Rogue.
Dude, it used to be even better before they nerfed it. Still pretty good. I'm a Shadow Cascade, Shadows kind of guy. But yeah.
Looking forward to it. Everyone has been telling me, make a Shadow Dagger Rogue, make a Shadow Dagger Rogue, make a Shadow Dagger Rogue. Okay, we're actually doing it. So we'll make the best thing in the game.
How many days does it take to get where you're complete with the character? Because if I start Last Epoch this week, I got to talk you into making a character with me, and a fresh one, so you can walk me through the game. Hold my hand for at least a stream or two. We can duo stream. We'll both go live at the same time. That way you don't have to be, missing your stream.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always down for whatever, man. It's fun hanging out with you and gaming. We can do anything. If you really know what you're doing, you can rip through the game and get to the end game very quickly. I would advise us to take it very slow. Let's have some fun. Let's not be Terminator with it. Let's not be super efficient with it. Let's have some fun, and I'll just kind of be a little buddy, like tagging I'll be like a glorified follower. Just follow you around. If you get in trouble, I'll help you, and I'll answer some questions for you. I'll be like Takatu in Super Mario Odyssey, just that stupid parrot sitting around.
I don't even know. Is Darth
ready to answer your
played?
questions,
Did he play Ellie?
I'm expecting you to be very hooked on Last Epoch. I'm expecting your review to be tremendously positive, and I'm expecting it to be a breath of fresh air for you. I can pretty much guarantee it. You're
so
going to like it.
You're calling your shot. You think I'm going to like it, is what I'm hearing.
I 99% chance. There's no chance you won't like it. There's just no chance.
It's
really good.
It's too good to the core classical isometric action RPG D2 purists. It's almost impossible for you not to like Last Epoch. Raxx continues to grow on me with great expressions of truth.
Good. You played WoW, right? You know WoW.
Yeah, I played WoW. I actually quite like hardcore classic. I watch a little bit of it. I lurked a little bit of Woody. I saw he was playing recently too.
Woody was a big WoW player back in the day. He was in the 3rd best guild in Europe for a while, I believe, on his Hunter. So Woody has a lot of experience in WoW. We should all make a guild, man. I can play WoW, man. I have. Let me tell you a terrifying stat. This is going to show you how much of a loser I am. I think you already know this because you played RuneScape for this much. But I have more hours in WoW than Diablo 3, Diablo 2, and Diablo 4 combined.
That's right. You told me this. Yeah, I didn't realize you were that big of a WoW blaster. But, I mean, I guess we have that in common. I didn't play Classic that much, to be fair, because I rolled in right at the start.
Are you drinking white wine?
So I kind of missed, like, the GOAT. But I did join during Burning Crusade. And I played a lot of Burning Crusade, Lich, and a decent amount of Kata. And then that was kind of like... That's kind of like the only ones I really played. But Burning Crusade, and I think Lich was the peak, or maybe Burning Crusade. It's very, like, Lich and Burning Crusade are like 1 and 2 for me. Like, very, obviously I didn't play Classic, but I guess Classic I probably would like the best. But those two for me are like the GOATs. And now that everything is Lich King right now with Classic, with Ice Citadel, it makes me want to re-go back in, because the WoW right now is my literal favorite part. Like, right at the release of ICC, favorite part of the WoW. Yeah,
I think that's the golden era.
What happened to Last Epoch?
TBC and Wrath of the Lich King they're just godly, man. The Classic is just so punishing, but just so satisfying at the same time. Like we talked about earlier, like Diablo 4 a lot of times feels punishing in the wrong way. And
do have some
WoW
experience.
For some reason, I don't mind killing 1 boar every 20 minutes on my warrior if I don't have a pocket healer. TBC made so many improvements to the game. The raids were crazy, like getting a Warglaive on Illidan, or getting, the Phoenix Mount and Tempest Keep was just such a hype moment. You're just living for it every week. And then we got Arthas. We got trying to get Tribute to Insanity in, Trial of the Grand Crusade. I can't remember the names anymore. They gave us the Armory where you can make multiple builds, press 1 button, go into your PvP build. The arenas were crazy, trying to push like the Gladiator titles. Dude, it was a fun time, man. WoW consumed my life for many years, and I don't regret any of it. I had a blast the whole time.
I feel like WoW hit right at the peak join of when games were, they're getting more popular, but games were popular enough that they were becoming mainstream, but not popular enough from the business angle, where so many games are created that there's just so much choice and the community so split. So WoW felt like, in the biggest genre, the biggest version of the game and the biggest genre with MMOs, had the most players. I don't know if we're ever going to hit a game that felt as iconic during an era. Like, I don't know if we're going to hit ever in any game, have a game that's like that big and impactful again, and just a mass number of people that know about the game, play the game, it's as relevant. What would it be, like Call of Duty or FIFA? Like, these are the biggest games in the world, but I feel like WoW is so massively iconic. I don't know how there's ever going to be like that spike in relevancy
Last
again
Epoch
for any game.
2.
I think what it would take is,
just kidding.
We were talking about this the other day. Let's hone in on a genre for a moment. Let's look at ARPGs. ARPGs essentially just take the template of an ARPG and they just try to do it very well. They try to give you very nice quality of life, try to give you a good skill system to make cool builds. They have a cool item hunt and they have a cool end game. This is what PoE, Diablo 4, and Last Epoch are all trying to maximize in their own way, but conceptually, it's the same. In order to do what you are saying, in order to create a ripple effect, an iconic effect on video games, you need to innovate on a genre. You need to do something new that we haven't seen. WoW was an MMO, like the scale of it was just so much bigger and beyond anything that had happened before, that's what enticed so many people to come into it, and
It was good.
It essentially became a lifestyle for some people, and that I think is why it had such an effect. But if there's another ARPG in 2024 that's cool ARPG, that is the same thing. It's the same. Here's a cool skill system. Here's how you get some items. Here's some endgame bosses. Here's a leaderboard. Here's
Titan
the
Quest
leveling
2.
system. If it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over, you're never going to get that kind of effect, in my opinion. You have to somehow innovate on it. And how do you innovate on it? Well, it's unclear, which is why people haven't done it yet.
Do you think the MMOs can get to that point now? I mean, is it possible to raise an MMO like so massively beyond what the other competition has to offer, with so much variety of choice in this day and age and so many different IPs, etc.? Is it possible to innovate at a level that redefines the genre?
I'm always of the opinion that the answer is yes. I am always of the opinion that there are brilliant ideas out there that we just simply haven't uncovered yet. 100 years ago, we didn't have planes or cars or mobile phones or computers, like at least anywhere near the sense that we have now. And look at us now. Maybe in 100 years, we'll be teleporting and AI will control us and, whatever. But I'm always of the opinion, I like to be a
couple more minutes. We'll let him finish.
There's got to be some godly ideas here. I'll drink my copium here, my hopium, take a big breath of it and say that I think that there will be some godly games out there that kind of redefine. I don't know if it'll be MMOs or some other genre, maybe like a looter shooter like Destiny, a new kind of thing. But I like to be a believer, man. If we lose our belief, well, what do we have? What do you think?
I'm a pessimist at heart with a lot of stuff, but my issue is that I feel like the gaming community is so large and so spread out now, and there's so much competition in the field from companies that it's become too much of a money thing, and that you really need people that were rawly inspired back in the day to make like these amazing games. But now it's so much of a business that the art side of it has fallen behind a little bit. If you can kind of get what I'm saying. So for me, it feels like, because everything is printed in like a template, in early access and battle pass and all this shit, and everything's about how can we make the most money out of a game. Like the concept of let's just make the best game ever and then see what happens with it seems few and far between these days. And marketing's even
because the game only gets green lit based upon how much money is it going to make and investors and stock prices. And it takes that quality, maybe a better way to put it is like the soul of the game and the creation out when it's all about battle passes and MTX.
Larger, and marketing splits the attention of the viewer. So it used to sort of be like, okay, well, what's the best game out right now? And word of mouth spreads within the gaming community, so that I'm playing WoW, I'm playing, Star Wars Galaxies, whatever, and these games would, blow up within
Star Wars Galaxies is my favorite.
A lot of times the gamers find games by overwhelming the marketing budget, and for that reason, it's split communities massively. And I don't know if we can have the same amount of singular game having as much relevancy between everybody on the planet, and with all of the different game choices available. Like we're spoiled by choice in the same way. There's a million cars to choose from now. There's never going to be a car that's as relevant as the Model T from Ford again, because it's no longer as big of a deal as it used to be to create a new car. That's how I feel about gaming at the moment, which makes me sad because I would like to see a new Model T.
Cars are a little different. Could you imagine if Elon, maybe a bad example, some major brand comes out and puts out a model whatever, and it's an electric car with 500 miles of range and it's only 10 grand, right? I think price and innovation, actually, that might be still possible based upon the ever-changing landscape of the auto industry, or at least maybe the pivot now from gas to EVs. It's a very relevant point. Okay, we're almost done. 20 seconds. Let's let him finish.
In the future.
Oh, it is finished. What's he doing? Having a drink? That's what it looks like. Oh, just having a drink. Oh, my head is over his head. Oh, that is like weirdly positioned. Okay, everybody. 1, Raxx, DM, nice conversation. I don't know if you actually played Last Epoch, but I hope you did. And I'm hoping to see that review first impressions video from it. And I hope you fall in love with the game. But of course, give your honest opinion. Man, good conversation. I see why this is sent to me. You know, you've got Asmin talking about playing. You've got Lazy Peon that loves it. You've got Raxx playing it. You've got Woody playing it. Darth maybe playing it. It seems like the Last Epoch community might have grown one more large community member, one more large creator. This is great. That's all I've got. Nothing but love. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.